Majestic is one of the oldest, most prestigious tournaments in America. Honestly, it's a 40-year-old tournament. Best players in our sport literally are on that trophy.
His history, knowing this event used to be prominent and is still prominent for the A tier.
It feels like one of those ones that people want to check off.
I always 100% my energy. Doesn't matter B tier, A tier, C tier. I get it all serious. Win is win. I don't care if it's like small or big. Win is win. So yep.
I just play every tournament like same. Honestly, they all make me nervous. Sometimes there's more pride, and it gets you more nervous, just like a pro tour, because you assume that you're supposed to get a top 5 or whatever thing.
Obviously, this isn't a Disc Golf Pro Tour elite event or anything, but it's a pretty well-known A tier in the U.S. So I'm looking forward to playing this week, and I love the change of pace, getting to throw some slower discs. It's not something we have a whole lot out on the roads.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to defend with this field, but I know these courses better than anybody.
Whole 18 right behind me there going into the gazebo. That's a neat way to finish a round on a big 450-foot shot, it feels like.
I mean, the thought process was the gazebo was right there, and the basket was kind of 50 feet away from it.
I think Kale and I were standing right behind you. He just had the idea, really. It was just more or less like a nice finishing 400-plus hyzer shot.
I think it's a vibe. It's a great way to finish. I like that hole a lot. Getting to throw a hyzer right at it, hopefully don't destroy the gazebo, but try to land it close and get a birdie to finish. I like that hole a lot.
You can get away with some of these things on private property, like the gimmicks, a little bit more than you can on like a tour course, for instance.
I don't like to use the word gimmicky because I don't think it's more of a gimmick thing. I think it's more of like a skill thing. When you have an obstacle in your way, or you're trying to get it into something or get it close, but then there's still pillars to deal with or something else. It's just kind of fun.
We got a couple hang-in baskets that we're playing at this tournament, and that's not something that is really a part of tour standards, but it's kind of the fun. It's the X factor that makes these events stick out in a way. Niche-y things that you can't really do on a park course that is like a public course or like a disc golf pro tour course. So I encourage doing these things on these like not pro tour type layouts. It's fun to have those little things.
It's not something that I would do if I was building the course from scratch, but since the gazebo was there, it looks pretty. The distance was exactly right for what I wanted for 18. I wanted it to be a par 3 that was far but reachable and make it a tough final hole. And with the gazebo there, I obviously didn't want to tear it down or move it, and so I was like, well, let's just incorporate it and put it in there. Some people hate it, but I'm kind of fond of it.
I like the gazebo. Vision Quest is kind of known for having some interesting first ideas that get brought to life, and so I feel like that is a good touch at this course especially.
Honestly, even if you get blocked up by one of those beams, you can straddle out around it, so it's not unfair or anything like that. I think it looks good.
I don't think it's too much, the posts won't be too much in the way. You should always have a putt if you're close.
They're far enough spaced that you can straddle around one side or the other. The thing that I don't really like is when you got a tough hole and then you get to the basket and there's absolutely no way in from any way. You can't straddle left or right. You can't throw a sidearm. You basically got to bank it off, and that part I'm like, eh.
Awesome. We need to bring some drama on hole 18, you know what I'm saying? I can call that little gel. You need an accuracy putt on hole 18 because look at that. Look at that. Come on. It's not that thing easy on that one. So yeah, I love that drama.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah. You think there should be more of that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not too much. Once I like one elevated a hole, turn it around. Sometimes I think the 3 elevated on Pro Tour is a little much. I just like one.
It's exactly the kind of course that I like to play when I'm not on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. In fact, I'd like to play more courses like this on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but it's a little too easy, I think, for Pro Tour standards.
I love both courses. Both of them, I feel like is have potential to be a Pro Tour.
We actually played the old Vision Quest course in Blue Room Pines back in 2015, so this will be the second time that we've done it.
Old school, kind of par 3. I ain't been on those in a while. More on the par 3 regiment, and back then, I would say a lot of the longer par 3 courses were kind of like this, where they had some 450s and a lot of 330s. Mm-hmm. So now, I don't know, it's just kind of got a little old-fashionedness to it.
This is the kind of course that reminds me why I like disc golf in the first place. A lot of technical shot shaping, and got to make some putts, and got to get creative on some of the greens and some of the approaches and uphill and downhill stuff. I mean, that's really fun for me.
It's not just only a technical, but it's a long throw too. You need to have a long throw plan, where you want to land, and then go to the good upshot. They got it all on this one. I don't care you throw far or short. This court will guard you good. They have teeth.
Definitely a lot more scoring here, and it's about like playing golf and making sure you're not making a lot of mistakes. On tour, you don't want to make mistakes, but you still have to be really aggressive and go for a lot of things. And here, you really just want to avoid taking a bogey of any kind and just kind of stacking up as many birdies as you can get.
Biggest difference is probably distance. Pro Tour, just the courses seem like they're getting longer and longer every year. And then, yeah, playing local stuff, playing something like Majestic, a lot of under 400-foot shots, which is nice to throw, not throwing your arm out in practice rounds.
I get to throw my mids and putters a little bit more. I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun out here.
What do you think the hot score out here will be?
I think I'll probably shoot like a 16 under.
I could see something between 16 to 19, I think would be a really good hot score over there.
5 or 6 down, but I'm pretty sure like I think even 3 should be okay.
Fixed conditions like this, probably 12 or 13 under, maybe better.
Well, for me, it's nothing. We play 27 holes every year for the Majestic, so I think most of the people that play this event are used to that. But the only difference in the mindset is just like knowing it's going to be a long round and don't get too high or low if something bad or good happens early, because you got a lot of holes left that you got to maintain or else bounce back from.
Come on, I never get tired of a lot of holes like that. I'm like, come on, can we have more?
A lot of holes out there are pretty short, so it's not like a physical problem. It's just more of a 27 just takes a while.
It's just a longer round, but I don't think it really does a whole lot more as far as, getting more exhausted or anything like that.
I get less nervous in the 27 because I know I can ease into the round, honestly. So I love them. And I used to play Southern National Disc Golf, but
ERP has a lot of areas where you just really don't want to lose focus because a 2-stroke swing can happen very fast. So 27 holes it's easy to slip mentally and take a couple strokes instead of just one.
27 hole, you think it's gonna make me tired? Hell no.
I got to 18 on BRP, and I was definitely like, wow, it definitely feels like I should be done, but I still have 9 more holes to go. Definitely pacing myself, being patient. You have a lot more time to make up strokes in a 27-hole round as opposed to an 18-hole round.
BRP hole 3, I never see anything like that much in the Pro Tour. That probably might be the first time I saw like all the tree and a straight narrow, nothing like that. So very amazing.
Hole 3 down the tunnel that we're playing this weekend is really cool.
This is the narrowest tunnel, 444 par 4. It's hole 3 in our layout this weekend.
oh, the hallway hole. That's the sickest hole in disc golf, or definitely one of them. I mean, the way and now they kind of lean over more, and I kind of remember on some of those, and it just to me makes it even more epic looking, dude. I love that hole. Super sick.
I like hole 1. It's pretty cool. Good starting hole. 18's kind of unique with the basket being in the gazebo.
You gotta love 14 and 15, dropping putters up onto island holes out here. I think those are both cool holes back to back.
The story actually goes way back. It was 2013. The guy who lived here and owned this property named Mike Rivard contacted me about helping him design this new course that he wanted to build. So I was actually one of the original designers of this property way back then. The place goes so far back. If you see these ponds behind us, none of these were even here. He dug all this out. It was a complete dream of a design and project to work on. So it was laying dormant here, and another man bought it and contacted me about if I wanted to take this over. The opportunity was too good to pass up. We just love this place. We love having our own property out here. Now we're about 7 months in, and it's going great. You can see the tall grass behind me. That's pretty much how everything looked. But the bones of this property were still here. Like we did get all new baskets and a lot of new tee pads, but every hole already had a bench. There's waste baskets. There's such a good infrastructure here. So we were like, we could probably get this place revived without spending too much money. Pulled it off in a few weeks. The first step was me cutting down a couple of the trees that I've wanted to cut down for about 11 years. When you get back in the woods, some of the lines, there's some fun holes back there, but some of the lines weren't super fair. Moved tee pads where I wanted, baskets where I wanted, and kind of make everything as fair as I believe a course should be. We changed 9 of the 18 holes, but people that played the old Vision Quest property still got the exact same feel. If you knew the old property, you still have the same flavor here. Wanted to honor a lot of the old special holes and stuff like that, but while changing about half of it. Some of the shots were so fun, but there's like some gnarly old stumps in the way and stuff, and that's the first thing we did is I had Grizz come out here and lop those down.
When we got out here and we worked with the city, Kale and I, it was just we tried to make it very obvious and apparent to those guys that all we're focused on is a disc golf course that's at a professional level that Kale and I can then operate and run, and there's no worriment than for the city, and we got approved to do it. And so far, it's been nothing but praise from everybody. All of our neighbors seem to love us. They love to see how busy it is, and they trust us. So it's a different property in general nowadays. It's just more of a disc golf course.
The sheer hours and time, it's a ton of work. It's more than you can imagine. But if I work a full day out here, I feel like energized almost because it's instant gratification on improving things. But having Odie really helps because he probably works harder than I do. So that's good.
I would have never thought back then that I would eventually be an owner of this property and running it with Kale. It would never have crossed my mind. So it feels really good to take it on, but also, it's just one of those things that for our state, this place was always just kind of a mystery and mystical. And it was just kind of like, what's going to happen with this place? And everyone was really like curious if someone was ever going to take it back over. And you should have seen the praise that we had gotten once we decided to do it.
The mindset is just to just fully enjoy myself and be present and be grateful that there's so many amazing pros in town. This is by far the biggest field we've ever had in the Majestic.
Weird to think about it being just an A tier in Minnesota, but the timing of everything was so perfect. Right after the preserve, having the time before Des Moines, that they could come here and they could play an A tier. That's a well-known tournament. It's been running for a long time, and usually people want to win it, so made it kind of easy when it comes to getting signups.
The place kind of got a bad rap for about 4 or 5 years when it was kind of let go. So we knew we wanted to change the name and the branding on it. But when we got here in September, all of the apple trees, there's about 40 of them on the property, and they were all just bursting with fresh apples. So we were about to actually call this place the Orchard. We were literally about to have our artists start working on things and make the announcement and everything. And I talked to Odie, and something about the hollows just seemed like it was kind of like mystic and appropriate for the wooded holes and some of the areas back on this course. So literally at the last hour, we changed it from Orchard to Hollows.